Did you know there's a secret waveform that makes the original Reese bass? Here's how it looks. The first third of it is sort of like the first half of a sine wave, then it goes more or less horizontal for the middle third, and the final third sort of looks like the second half of a sine wave. Now, when you detune two of these waveforms, Kevin would be so proud. So how can you create this waveform? Well, you'd never guess. Perhaps if you've done a bit of homework, you're shouting at the screen, "It's Casio CZ-based distortion synthesis!" And you'd be right. That's how Mr. Saunderson, the pioneer himself, pulled it off. But you'd also be wrong, because I didn't use a Casio. If you're of the opinion that the best way to get the sound someone else got is by using the same tools they did, then you're at a great disadvantage. You see, as I've said in previous videos, there are several ways to skin felines. Your bottleneck is a lack of skill and knowledge. When you do have the right skills and knowledge, then your tool choices become far less of a restriction. Why? Because if you want to make competitive music without spending more time, money, or effort than your peers, then skills are more important than tools. Say it with me. Skills are more important than tools. Anyway, a friend of mine in the UK bounce scene put me on to Exact Light by Sonic Bit, which is a free and excellent sounding digital FM plugin. To make the Secret Reese wave, all you need to do is feed a sine wave operator into another sine wave operator, an operator just being the FM synthesis equivalent of an oscillator. By the way, if you wanted to follow along using a new sound in FM8, you could route operator E through operator F, which makes operator E the modulator and operator F the carrier. The modulation amount, in other words, the level of operator E, would need to be set to around 27 to produce our secret waveform. Then, over on the master page, you can press the mono button in the polyphony section, set the voices to 2 like so, then set the detune to taste. Why are you looking at me like that? Oh, the clicking! Just go over to the envelopes page and increase the operator release times until it sounds smooth. By the way, as well as being free to use, Exact Light has the advantage of having a much cleaner phase modulation sound than most synths. Wait. Is a cleaner sound really an advantage when producing filthy bass sounds? Well, not necessarily, but I tell you what, it's a lot easier to use sounds that are maybe a little bit too clean and to rough those up later, which I will demonstrate. It's much more difficult to build a track using sounds that are too dirty, too distorted, or carry too many artifacts or diseases, then try to clean those up later. That's a really tricky way to go about it. It means you're relinquishing control to your tools, in which case your tools become a bottleneck. Again, not the best place to be if you want to reach a competitive standard. Anyway, you can make a Secret Reese waveform on Exact Light by pushing the modulators level up to about 16. How come it was 27 on FM8 and it's 16 on Exact Light? Go and watch my donk tutorials if you want to know more about how FM synthesis differs from one plugin to the next. Exact Light doesn't have unison, but the algorithm section lets you pick how the operators are arranged. Algorithm 5 is the one you'll want, B modulating A, then D modulating C. So our modulators B and D both need to be on 16, and our carriers A and C can both go up to maximum level. Then we'll need to detune each pair of operators by about 35 cents in either direction. So A and B can be minus 35 cents, then D and C can be plus 35 cents. Am I doing you proud yet, Kevin? But we're not done with the feline skinning methods. An even easier way to make the Secret Reese waveform is to use an FM emulating wavetable in your wavetable supersynth of choice. These are supposed to be impossible. Serum doesn't even allow rendering FM to wavetable, and if you try to do it through manual resampling, it tends to sound rubbish. But I run a membership service where I provide group coaching, and my members get access to my exclusive Wavetables archive, which is full of such goodies. And you can find this particular wavetable in the description below. Just loading this OTG YAM FM 1-to-1 wavetable, taking it to the relevant position, and sticking it in 2-voice unison with no stereo spread produces this sound. And of course, having it in a wavetable means we can easily modulate the wavetable position and use warps to twist up the texture in a variety of ways. But wait, those poor felines. There's an even better way. All the methods I've shown so far have, in some way, involved a form of phase modulation synthesis. But another interesting discovery that took place during one of our online group coaching sessions is that you could use a saw wave with a 48 decibel per octave zero-phase resonant bandpass filter to make the Secret Reese wave. It's not a minimum phase bandpass filter. It's not a linear phase bandpass filter. It's a zero-phase bandpass filter. This is supposed to be impossible as well, but we managed to capture that as a wavetable, again to be used in your wavetable supersynth of choice. Check the description if you're interested in grabbing the wavetable or for info on the membership service. Now, what about adding some grit and dirt? To be fair, I'm not generally the biggest fan of digital distortion. It's not that it's inherently bad, just that it takes a bit more skill and thought to come up with pleasing results as compared with analog distortion. I do have a tip for you though. Grab the free M-Wave Shaper plugin by Melder Production. From the default preset, all you need to do is right-click the graph to bring up the menu that lets you choose the free 1 mode. Then I'd suggest you turn on asymmetric mode and experiment with the curves until you find a texture you vibe with. This has given me some proper 90s drum and bass vibes. Last thing, if you're interested in an exciting new approach to resampling for sound design, then you'd better look out for my upcoming resampling tutorial. Until then.